Hey everyone, Oz here. We're doing another member interview today. I have Bernie Duns with me. Hey Bernie,
Hey Oz, how you doing today?
I am doing great, man. I'm super excited about this interview. We've been planning to do this for a long, long time, to be honest. But
Yeah.
Bernie's schedule has been crazy busy in a good way, and same as mine. But I thank you, Bernie. I know we've been going through a ton of stuff that we're going to be talking about, but you made it here today, so I appreciate your time.
Well, my pleasure.
Awesome. So I've done a lot of interviews, over the past year and before that. Yours is like super inspiring. I think more than anyone has been going through some stuff that pushes any person to its limit, and it makes it very difficult to come back and cling to something to climb back up, right? So even before like you've gotten to know me and the program, so what have you been going through recently? Let's talk about that.
Well, I ran into some medical issues a couple years ago and related to diabetes, and I was hospitalized with pancreatitis, and unfortunately, as a result, I lost everything. I couldn't work. I found myself homeless, and you know, like we just talked when you and I first talked, I was actually living in a tent, and didn't have much to my name, and I've been looking at this business for a while, knowing that it was viable, and talked to a lot of people. But I got to tell you, Oz, when I talked to you, I found you as a real person and really willing to help, and I put my faith in what you were going to teach me, and it's really worked out. And my gut usually works well for me, and I'm proud to be part of the membership, and I couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah, thank you, man. I definitely remember the conversation because I almost couldn't believe it. Sometimes I talk to people and they go through a financial hardship and things like that. And when you said, well, you're actually like really homeless at that moment, I honestly didn't know what to tell you. Like, yeah, I knew that joining the blueprint would help you, but in such a dire situation, you wanna make sure that you're dealing with the right person who's going to take what is being given to them and make the best out of it, right? Because that's what it comes down to. I
Absolutely.
think we have the best program in the industry, but it comes down to an individual to make use of that, right? To change their current situation. And I applaud you for taking that massive action. I know it's not easy for most people to pull themselves out of a situation like that, especially after dealing with health problems, financial problems, and losing almost everything you got. So you certainly are a champion. But after that, you've gotten quite busy, and things have been changing. So what's been going on?
Well, I started the blueprint in November, and like I said, I was living in a tent. I was still, suffering the side effects of severe pancreatitis, and it took me a while. But it was trial and error. But I also had some other things I had to overcome. Like I said, being homeless, I had no internet access. I had to get my phone turned back on. There were a lot of things, and I put really every last dime that I had, I put into the program, knowing it would work. Just give you a little bit of background. I've been successful before, but just because you're successful before doesn't mean that you're not subject to hardships and everything else like the rest of the world. I was in the mortgage business for years and was successful at it, but the mortgage industry crashed, and then other hard times, like I said happened. So I started following the blueprint the best I could with the sporadic internet and some other things that slowed me down. But I could see steady growth, and I saw opportunities. Some failed, but it just kept the course, filling the pipeline, and it's been life changing for me. It really has. We were talking, just off camera, how I'm ready to scale my business now. I'm having my best month ever, but it took slow progression,
Of
you know,
course.
just following the steps, along the way, and I'm thrilled. My life has really changed.
Yeah, man. Many people take things for granted, such as having access to internet and phone, right? We don't even think about it, a lot of times you just have them. That's a part of your essentials, like having bread and milk, and things like that. But you're trying to build a business online without having access to internet. So that's
I
like
really
a
started
lot of
on a
people
cell
that
phone
would
at a
just
Dunkin'
turn them
Donuts.
off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I really started on a cell phone at a Dunkin' Donuts, jumping on their free Wi-Fi, and that's how I got started.
Well, that shows that there's really no excuse for someone who has goals to hit, right?
Yep.
So through that process, you and I have been communicating back and forth because I was like dying to know what was happening with you, your situation, and things like that. I think at some point you were telling me that you're using you're sometimes going to your friend's house to use their internet to log in and things like that. That's been happening, right?
Yep. Whatever it takes. Wherever I can get it. And we were having problems today. We're on the cell phone right now, because I'm still using public Wi-Fi right now because I haven't been in a position to get a place of my own. So I've got a friend of mine that's helping me out. But the Wi-Fi is down today. We had some storms this morning, and it plays with the public Wi-Fi. So.
Perfect. And you've been funding some deals, but this week you said was your biggest week. So what happened this week?
Well, like we were talking, it's just, steady progression, keep filling the pipeline. I've got deals out there that I've got to go back to that, might not have worked before. But this week, so far, I've got $95,000 funded for the week, which is a great start to the month. Thrilled, and now it puts me in a position where I can really start scaling the business to
Yeah.
what I want, and start investing some other things that are going to grow the business even more. So I'm thrilled.
And this is not your like first week, a successful week, right? You've been funding deals. How many deals have you funded so far?
Yeah, I've been funding 1 to 2 a month.
Nice.
Some small deals. Actually, one of these deals is actually my first renewal,
Mhm.
and we actually did actually a third position on this one. I've got a second and a third with this gentleman now, and then another brand new deal. And as we were speaking, he had called me, and he's sending over an invoice for an excavator he needs for his business as well.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
that's another nice deal, and I've got some other pretty big deals in the works right now. So again, I can't count on that money. I just got to keep on filling the
Of course.
pipeline. And these things are starting to work out.
Oh yeah, you know better. So guys, for those of you who are not from the industry, so when Bernie says renewable, that means that he actually funded a client back then, and that client came back wanting to work with him again, and he's funding that client again. So for those of you who follow me, I talk quite a bit about like being a true consultant, caring for your clients, and they're gonna choose to come back for you than someone who's been dialing them all day long through telemarketing or through like cold calling and things like that. So that's actually living proof that it does happen. And he's talking about equipment leasing, another product that we teach about. So having access to multiple products makes you a real consultant, to be honest. Because if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? You can't just make everyone fit into one product. Like in Bernie, how difficult would it be for you if all you had was merchant cash advance for all of these people?
It would make it more difficult, because it's not everything for everyone. And like I said, I've been in sales for a long time. I was very successful in the mortgage industry. I trained a lot of people as well. And just like you were just talking about, it's all about relationships. People like to do business with people they like and trust, and that's the most important thing. And the other thing that, and I see a lot of things on the Facebook page, and the one thing that I always used to say to the people that I train is, don't be afraid. You go through this training, you're going to know more about business loans than anyone you're ever going to talk to. So don't be nervous about it. If you don't know the answer, just say, let me check, let me find out for you. I'm still learning, and I'm going to continue to learn, and I think that brings a lot of credibility to for myself to my clients that I'm not just trying to ram something down their throat. I'm really trying to do what's best for them and their company.
100%, man. That's gold mine. A lot of reasons people do not get to where they want to go to, it has to do with their self-image, right? You give them the
Absolutely.
information, but they still think that they don't know enough, or they have the perfectionist mindset. They think they need to know everything about everything before they take action, which is just an excuse for not doing the actual work, right? But when you talk to people, we're all people. No one is expecting you to know everything. And when you come across situations, if you're consultative, it's okay to say, you know what, good question. I don't know the answer, but I can find out. That's why we have the community, so you can come back, which you had done it in the past, and now you're helping other people. You come back and say, hey guys, we have a situation like this. What do I do? Then someone who has more experience or have funded deals like that, they can help you through that process. So a lot of times we get in our own, in our own way, pretty much to start the grow process. Because once you get it rolling, sometimes it takes one deal. It gives you the confidence that you need, and just like you said, like once you go through a solid training program, you know more than the 99% of the people that you'll ever meet. So don't assume that they understand this. They don't. And even if they've gotten funding before, would you say that they have no idea what's going on a lot of times? Like they're relying on you for your help?
Absolutely, absolutely, and a lot of them. The one that just renewed with me had a loan with someone else, but he was never explained anything. No one took the time with him, and he loves doing business with me. When I did this renewal, he got a call from the previous company,
Of
and the
course.
first thing he did was called me and said, "Hey, they offered me this. Can we do something?" And I said, "I'm not sure, but let's try." And obviously got the documentation we needed, and it all worked out.
That's awesome. So I want to go back to this big week. We don't want to just brush it off. So $90,000 in funding for those who are not from the industry. What does that mean? What does that equate to for money in your pocket?
Just under $9,000.
Wow, that's just 1 week of
Yep.
funding. And well, then you have other stuff in the pipeline. You're talking about a couple
Yep.
of deals that you're not even counting, and that's just awesome. That's amazing income. And so you talk about like your net goal from this point on is obviously improve your life, but scaling. So what plans do you have? What's your plan moving forward?
Well, we're going to start scaling forward. I'm looking to hire a couple people right now. I already have a few people in mind that looked at this a while ago and failed because they didn't have the right training. When I started doing this, I'm old school. You can tell from my gray hair. The way we sold when I started was walking, talking, knocking, and you talk an awful lot about that as well.
Hmm.
And you get your name out there, but it takes an awful lot of walking, talking, and knocking to get a couple loans. Especially with businesses, they don't like people just walking in the door.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm taking some of those people and building my staff up there as well. But I'm also investing in some other marketing materials. I've got a couple opportunities right now. I developed a relationship with a regional manager for one of the largest companies that does equipment sales in
Hmm.
in the Northeast,
Yeah.
and we've become very close friends. So he's starting to refer all of his employees to send me their business. So
Nice.
this could be really huge. It will be really huge, and I'm just so grateful for it. It's unbelievable, and it'll get me back to the lifestyle I was at. I ended up having to leave the mortgage business at the end of the boom when the market crashed.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, um, I went through a divorce at the same time, so it was like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and
Yeah.
now I've got an opportunity to get back to that same lifestyle I lived, before, and provide better for my family, and that's really my ultimate goal. And if I, helping other people is really the way to do it. I'm a firm believer in that saying by Zig Ziglar. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want.
Absolutely. And what you get paid is in direct proportion to the size of the problem you solve for people, right? If you're getting someone $60,000, $70,000 that they would not have gotten otherwise, and that solves a huge problem for their business, well, you're going to be compensated handsomely. That's just the way it works. That's why
Absolutely.
this industry is very lucrative, because you're solving a big problem. You're not trying to convince someone of getting something that they might not even need or they might not even know about. At the end of the day, we're selling the sexiest product on earth. It's money for those who need it. You can make it happen, and well, you get paid handsomely for that. So those are very true words. And you've been working really hard to make that happen. That's definitely awesome. So you like the definition of the full life cycle of a consultant. You started from not from this industry. You didn't even know about the industry. You've been doing some research and dabbling in and out, but then you started without any background in it, funded a couple of deals, got yourself to a better situation. Now you're talking about scaling, meaning that you're going to hire more people, you're going to build strategic alliances and partnerships. From this point on, I guess the next step is once you get those in place down the line, you might even get an office and hire more staff and have your own like broker shop. Is that the goal?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I'm already looking at a couple offices locally.
Nice.
That's probably a month or two down the road.
Sure.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I want to, keep a prudent reserve and scale appropriately and grow this business the right way.
Wow. So people like contact me and my team, and they have so many different situations going on, and of course, they might feel like we might not be able to relate their problems, right? So what would you say to someone who might be going through some kind of hardship, but they want to dig themselves out of that place and start their own business? Because you and I know the best way to fix your situation is to build a successful business. You can get a job, but that's very time demanding, and there's always a ceiling. So it'll save the day maybe, but the best place to be is owning your own business. So what would you, for someone who's been recently going through a lot of hardship, what would you recommend someone who might be going something similar, worse, or better?
Well, I've always been an independent person myself. I've not been one to work for other people, and I've been this way for a long time. But you have to have faith in your own abilities. Find the right training, the right type of people that can guide you, and that's what I found in you. And that, like I said, right from our first conversation, I knew that you were the guy that could help. And just stay the course. Commit to the training. And it's really step by step. If you just do what is asked, and of course we have that closed Facebook page where if you get stuck, you can ask a question, and there's plenty of people to help and assist, which has just been terrific as well. I've reached out to other people, both on the site and personally, just by me, developing relationships, and that's what business is built on. Whether you need help or you're trying to grow your business, it's all about relationships, and my clients know that too.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, since you mentioned our community pretty much through Facebook, and we're getting to a point that people are having their local meetups, like actual members are meeting with each other and helping each other out and things like that. It eliminates that scarcity mindset of, oh yeah, so there's not enough for everybody. No, I mean, if you look at our community, I can't keep track of like how many people post the deals they get and they ask for help and someone else jumps in, although there's no financial benefit to them, just for the sake of helping that person so that person grows the business, right? So I could not have done that myself. I can't get to enough people, but our community feeds each other and we all grow together that way. So that's been the most amazing experience that I've ever experienced since inception of this program. But Bernie, I know it was not easy to make yourself available for this. You're working really hard, and you're achieving great things. So I appreciate you for being a part of this community, and I appreciate your time. And anything I can do for you?
Not at this point. You've done enough, Oz. I'm grateful, and I'm always here to help too. And anything you need, I'm definitely here to help you.
Bernie, thanks so much, man. I truly appreciate your presence in this community, and definitely proud to get to know you.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you, Oz.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.